I'm here with Dave Jilk from StandingCloud. Do you want to just tell us the problem you're trying to solve and what your product does?
Sure. The problem we try to solve is that for many users of the cloud or potential users of the cloud, we go with Forrester in categorizing them as informal buyers. An informal buyer is someone who is not or does not have access to system administration resources. So that could be anywhere from a developer, a software developer, or a business innovator, a business user, or somewhere in between. Developers do not like to do system administration in most cases either. Either that, or they think they do, and they don't really do a very good job of it, and they get by, but don't necessarily secure the server as well as they could. So we try to solve the problem of making it easy for these informal buyers to use infrastructure as a service on a variety of clouds. So you may have noticed that there's an increasing number of cloud providers these days. It used to be just Amazon and Rackspace, but if you look deeper, there's a lot of companies. There's SoftLayer, and there's OpSource, and there's Linode, and there's GoGrid, and there's now locally in Denver we have a company called Peak Colo, and there's one in Cheyenne, Wyoming called Greenhouse Data. There are hundreds of these companies now, and so they all need an application layer to service those informal buyers.
I guess the only thing I'd say is that it seems to me as infrastructure becomes more and more commoditized, people are starting to move up the stack, and so there's that thing going on where they're going to provide that service. And then the sort of second part of it is kind of a move towards some open standards, things like OpenStack and Cloud Foundry. And it seems to me like you're an intermediation layer that maybe with time won't be necessary.
Well, obviously I don't agree. I think that first of all, the desire for the cloud providers to move up the stack is absolutely true. They understand, and not all of them, but many of them understand that they need to move up the stack in terms of their capabilities. But really, their ability to develop that layer is not strong. They're infrastructure people. They understand data centers. They understand networks and switches, which, by the way, I don't understand very well. We work at a layer above that. We service the application layer, and so by partnering with us, cloud service providers can get that capability immediately without having to spend really millions on development. And so I think that first of all, the capability of developing it is not there. And why would they want to miss that market window? Why would they want to wait? And the other part of your question was?
Well, just the open standards, making it less necessary to have an intermediation layer.
Sure. The open standards is an interesting one because they've been talking about that since in 08 or so. And what's interesting is that there are actually competing standards organizations to try to determine the standards for the cloud. The problem, the deep problem that's there, we've spent a lot of time on this, the deep problem that's there is that infrastructure is not homogeneous. It depends on how your data center is built, how you actually deploy this stuff. Furthermore, different data centers work better with different approaches. VMware is not about to give up. They're rather happy with their vCloud implementation. It's nothing like Amazon's implementation, which is also like Eucalyptus's. OpenStack uses the Rackspace and the Amazon API. So, and all of them use very different binary approaches for their images. So
even open standards aren't standard.
I don't see any time really soon having this stuff be standardized. I also don't think it's really all that necessary. The kind of thing that StandingCloud does, we provide an abstraction layer on top of all this stuff. I think other people will be doing things like that. The platform services that you see out there, the software as a service layers, end users don't care about that stuff. They don't want to, end users and even developers don't really want to work with the API. They don't want to build the scaling themselves.
And I guess just to sum it up, I mean, the fact that you're vendor agnostic gives customers some faith that wherever they decide to go, you can go with them.
That's right. Well, we're not vendor agnostic in terms of that it doesn't matter at all, but we support a large variety of cloud service providers. We work with them and we provide private labels that they can use to service their customers, but we also have a retail service where you can go in and actually pick your cloud provider and you can have servers running on different cloud providers. You can move among them, and so our approach is to make this accessible, all the different cloud services accessible to everyone for the application layer, for deploying software as a service applications, open source apps, as well as commercial. For building applications on top of a platform layer, we support Python and Java and Ruby and PHP, so all the standard platforms that people like to develop in. And they can do that anywhere.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Dave.
Thanks.
StandingCloud.